This one's a serious one. This ain't a game. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today I'm going to talk about my case. Again. I had no intentions of talking about my case again. I've already done 2 videos on my case. I did one where I actually walked through where the case occurred and everything. Unfortunately, I feel it's necessary that I bring my case up again because there is a wave of creatures trolling YouTube that are okay with slandering the dead, okay with utilizing the dead, utilizing underage girls, and making complete lies out of thin air in order to try to gain some momentum for their channels. And that momentum they're trying to gain is based off of lies. I'm not going to speak to the Gunner incident and all the lies that's going on there. I'm going to speak to my case. I recently had 2 videos sent to me, one a TikTok, one a YouTube video, right? And in both videos, I was called a coward. And it was said that I chased down an unarmed teen and shot him in the back of the head because I was a coward. And these creatures that are creating this narrative and these narratives, I want you guys to understand who you support when you watch those videos, when you leave a like on those videos, when you comment in those videos, because all of those things help encourage them to make up more lies and hurt more people. My victim has family, has a son, has sisters, has a brother, has friends. And the fact that a degenerate piece is going to bring that man up and his friends up and create a false narrative in order to try to paint me in a negative light, it's pretty alarming. So let's get to some facts of my case. My case occurred on June 27th, 1993. On June 27th, 1993, I went to a baptism. Well, I went to the after party, a barbecue. Somebody from my neighborhood had baptized their son. And there was probably, 30, 35, 40 dudes from my neighborhood there. There were, I believe, 6 dudes from our worst enemies from the east side there. And I believe there was 4 dudes from Goleta, another rival neighborhood there. And they were all invited by family. It was a family thing. So even though the park that we're at, Oak Park in my neighborhood, anybody from the area knows where that is. That's on the outskirts of my neighborhood, but still considered one of our parks. We used to patrol it, make sure nobody was there. If they were there, they had to be there with women and children, or they were going to be asked one time to leave. And so we did the barbecue there. And I personally let the other neighborhoods that were there know, hey, look, this is a family thing. Everything's freedom, man. You guys don't got to trip on nothing. But when that sun goes down and the family leaves, you know what time it is. And they were like, nah, it's freedom. We're just here with the family. Okay, cool. And so when the sun went down, we decided to go across the bridge to the apartments. When we got there, prior to going into the apartments, I stopped to light a cigarette, and I was watching a fireman, because a fireman had came out and was watching the homies, didn't see that I had stopped, and I was watching him, and I was lighting a cigarette, and I was just curious, what are you doing And then so when he saw me looking, he folded up, he pulled the flag down, folded it up, and went inside. Okay. When I turned into the apartments, and you guys can go back to my video where I show the apartments, there's been some changes made though. I noticed a car. And I could see the doorway. That doorway doesn't exist anymore. The doorway where my homeboys were at, which was in front of the apartment where the homie had baptized his son. And I could see my homies right there. And there was 14 of us that had left Oak Park and went to the apartments. Everyone else went somewhere else, right? And I remember being immediately upset because I looked and I could see my homies and I could see the car, and the car was full of dudes. There was 5 dudes in that car. And the engine was running. The lights were off. And in my head, these dudes are here to put in work. How in the fuck do my homeboys not see this car to jam them? So I crept up on the car. I looked through the back window to see, did they have any guns out? Did they have any weapons out where I could see? The 3 dudes in the back seat, I didn't see any weapons. Then I stuck my head in the driver's side window. And I asked them, where you guys from, me? And they never spoke. Anyways, long story short, they left. I got at my homeboys, what the fuck is that all about, Holmes? You vatos didn't see these dudes, this and that. And I'm mad at everybody. We decided we were going to drink beers in the pool. The pool was at the front corner of the apartments. We had to pass it to come in. When we were going to go in, there were some paisitas there, and they had their children in the pool. And when they saw us, they got nervous. So they started getting their kids, and so I told the homies, hey, we're scaring them, Holmes. Let's wait on the corner. We went around the pool, and we stood on the corner of Modoc and Hacienda. As we were standing there, I had my back to the street. I'm facing the wall. It's a brick wall around the pool, and I'm talking to homies, and we're all, in a little row, everybody talking. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a car coming down Hacienda, right? I'm not tripping. The homies are facing that way. I'm not tripping. I'm talking. Then I hear a homie say, hey, who the fuck is this, Holmes? And I hear somebody else say, I think they want pedo. And I turned around and I looked, and it was that same car again. So these dudes went in looking for somebody, and I guess there was too many of us for them. Then they must have went up Hacienda to figure out what are they going to do. Then they came down to the bottom, to the corner where we were. And when we all turned around and looked, we jammed them up. And when they didn't say nothing, we all rushed the car. At that point, they punched it and they yelled out, G13, we'll be back, which is Goleta. Okay, the project's in Goleta. These were all older dudes. Contrary to what these creatures want to say, I was a teenager. Everyone there in my crew was a teenager. There was actually one that was 13, one that was 15. I was 19. Okay. The dude that died, the dude that was killed, was 29 years old. So, when they yelled out Arrival Barrio and said they were going to be back, they had already been there twice, we decided, these are older cats, eh? Let's strap up. So, we went and got several guns and came back and waited because we were gang members. We're gang banging. I personally didn't believe that anyone would be stupid enough to come back to the same spot. Our neighborhood, they could have went to the park, or at least by the park. You ain't going in the park. They could have went to other parts of the neighborhood and did whatever they wanted to do, or try to do whatever they wanted to do. But why would you yell out a rival neighborhood and say you're going to come back? I was like, they ain't coming back. Motherfuckers used to be scared to death to come into the West Side at that time. So I was like, they're not coming back. And it was a discussion that we had back and forth. Nah, homie, them are older vatos though. They're going to come back. And I was like, they're not that stupid. They might come back, but they're going to go to a different spot. They're not going to come. Around 45 minutes later, they showed up on foot. dressed in all dark clothing. It's nighttime. Yeah, the third time they came on foot. I'm not going to go into all the details. I've already done it. But I want to say this. This narrative of a teenager who was unarmed and had nothing to do with nothing. The dude was from my neighborhood. They came to retaliate for something that had happened the night before, and he was helping a family friend. That's why he was involved. He was from my neighborhood. Why they yelled out G13, I don't know. Not one of them in that car was from G13. That was the stupidest thing for them to do. 29, 30, 31 years old they were. One dude I think was 21. And to yell out a rival barrio to us, and I'm there, and the person that I was back then, I knew I was going to kill one of them if they came. My intentions were to kill all of them if they came back. I can't apologize for that. I have to be honest in who I was back then. But when they flipped the body over, the person that was killed, the weapon he was carrying was underneath his body when he flipped it. It's in the court documents. What I did was wrong. What they did was wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right. They thought they were going to go into, at that time, the biggest and craziest neighborhood in South County, Santa Barbara. They thought they were going to go in there and have their way. And they ran into me. Somebody who was fresh out of the California Youth Authority, chip bigger than a 2x4 on my shoulder. I thought I was the downest, the craziest, and no one was ever going to say or tell any kind of story. This is a chip I used to have even before YA. Nobody is going to ever tell a story about doing something to my neighborhood and have my name involved. Hey, Holmes, you know who was there? Hey, that vato was there. No. No. In my mind, I'm going to win. You're not coming into my neighborhood. If you have the audacity to come in my neighborhood and you're not from there and you act and you're not scared, well, I have to scare you. And that's why I killed that man that night. It was my fucking ego. I could have let him go. I was so fucking mad that they made the guns come out. I gave them the opportunity to leave. I told them, hey, Holmes, this is we're celebrating a baptism, Holmes. Whoever the fuck you're looking for, go down to the park. There's a gang of motherfuckers waiting for somebody like you to pull up. Go to the square. West Side Square. Go over there. There's a gang of motherfuckers hoping somebody like you pulls up. But get out of here. They chose not to. They chose to be tough. The guns came out when one of their homeboys reached in the back of his pants and said, "What's up?" They found out. I'm not proud of what I did, but I did exactly what I was supposed to do as that individual, a gangster, a gang member, a killer. So for those that say, oh, Dubs is a coward, what, was I supposed to die? Was I supposed to get killed that night? When you're gangbanging and somebody reaches into their waistband, are you supposed to wait? Oh, come on, don't be a gun. I hope it's not a gun. Come on, Holmes. Those of you talking that shit, you never lived that life. I did. And as a gang member, I did exactly what I was supposed to do. I defended myself. I defended my neighborhood. I expanded the reputation of that neighborhood. I reminded people, you don't fucking come in here. This is what happens. You don't fuck around with us. That's who I was back then. That is not who I am now. But when I hear this fucking narrative, it's just, it's disgusting, man. It's disgusting that these piece of shit individuals with zero morality tell lies about someone going after a kid because they know how people react to that. I see it regurgitated in other people's comments. Dubs is a coward. He killed a kid. And I'm like, I was a teenager. Why do you think SB 261 got me out of prison? I have said over and over, I got out because the law changed because of the age I was when I committed my crime. But my victim was a grown-ass man, married with a child, almost 30 years old. If I could go back and take that back, I would. Not because of the time I did. That time made me the man I am now. But because of the lives that I fucked up that night. Every victim that I've ever created in my life, I wish I could take that back. I can't. But what I can do is put out positive videos. What I can do is have positive interactions with people and let people know that you can change. See, these pieces of shit that put these videos out and put out these false narratives, when they had that opportunity to be a gangster, to be a gang member, they completely failed. And they look at someone like me and they're jealous and they're envious. Why? I was a fucking loser by being that guy. You were more of a loser by failing to be that guy and still crying about it to this day, man. Let that man, let him be in peace. Let his family not have to hear this bullshit. It's amazing, man. It truly is amazing that people are so infatuated by me. Someone they've never met. Someone they obviously don't know nothing about. Rumors get put on the internet and then they become fact to lames. It's a damn shame, man. I didn't want to make this video. I don't enjoy making videos on that. I've made the two videos in hopes that people see how fucked up a person's ego can be. Because like I said, I killed over ego that night. When that dude reached in the back of his waistband, we were willing to beat the dog shit out of all 5 of them. Come on now. 14 of us. 14 of us there, young, teenagers, in our prime. Gang members and some 29, 30-year-old dudes, we're gonna beat the fucking brakes off of them. But when you reach into your waistband and we have guns on us, we ain't waiting around, Holmes. And like I said, the report straight up said when they rolled the victim over, his weapon was under his body. He was from my neighborhood. So save all that shit that you guys talk, man. Let that man rest in peace. Let his family fucking live, man. Let his friends live. There was 5 of them there that night. They all fucking have to live with that. That I allowed them the opportunity to leave. I told them to leave. They know the truth. I told them, get the fuck out of here, Holmes. You know where the fuck you're at? We ain't playing games around here. And they chose, because of their fucking friend, we want the beef. They got it. That should have never happened that night. I know without a doubt, the person I was back then, I would have just killed someone else. But that didn't have to happen. The person that I was needed to go to prison, needed to experience life, the life that I experienced in order to become the man that I am now. And the man that I am right now, I'm far from perfect. Far from it. But I'm not driven by my ego. I don't have hate in my heart. I righteously want to see people do well. I don't want to see no one, not your kids, nobody's kids. I don't want to see any of them go down the path that I went down. So these trolls, these scumbags that twist these stories, remember that when you go to watch them. Pay attention to what you're supporting when you support dudes like that will blatantly lie and bring up the dead and bring up an underage girl to lie on that girl's father. To completely flip the ages. I was a teenager and my victim was nearly 30 years old. But the narrative is I chased down a unarmed teenager. Those of you that are cool with that stuff, man, don't come around my page, eh? Don't come around my channel. I don't need your energy. Obviously, if that's attractive to you and that is content to you and that is something that you're willing to invest the precious time on earth that you have, don't waste any of your time with me, man. I'm obviously not your cup of tea. That's my video for the day, man. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.